Chapter 27 3-year-old couple 11. Nan Hoa said, making Huang Taekyung's tone on the other side not good. Is Appa angry? Why are you angry? Her face was full of smiles, even her eyes were curved. Anger. What am I angry about? What am I so angry about? He spoke incoherently. Ah, you are so annoying. Hurry up and say it. Is there anywhere else you want to go? AI, how sad, you didn't even come, leaving me alone to stroll around Myeongdong, and in the end you were still angry at me on the phone. Her voice dropped. His fierce expression immediately softened. I don't. I'll be right there, I'm already on my way. Where else do you think you want to go? That's right, I remember Myeongdong has a Doraemon store. Don't you like it the most? Why don't you go there and take a look? Really? I want to go. Her eyes immediately lit up. A smile that came from the heart appeared on her face. Not only was it because she liked Doraemon, but also because she had never told him about this liking, but he himself discovered it, which showed that he still cared. Hearing the cheers coming from the phone, he seemed to see the happy appearance of her, also smiled. Entering the shop, she hung up the phone and immediately immersed herself in the Doraemon ocean, picked up this one, liked it, picked up that one, wow, so cute, playing happily, the small shopping basket was filled to the brim. Slowly, the whole store quieted down, then the Doraemon theme song sounded. She raised her head and saw a chubby Doraemon swaying towards her. Then he stopped a step away from her, jumped up with short arms and legs, making people hold their stomachs and laugh, shouting out a cute dance. Following the dance movements, he would often take out items from his belly pocket. From women's favorite makeup, bags, exquisite small gifts, to Yuhi's every commemorative photo, stage photo, album since her debut. And finally a music box, with a familiar date engraved on it. The music stopped, Nan Hoa hugged the things full, holding the time machine in her hand, looking at the round blue chubby eyes in front, her eyes moist and happy smiling. Almighty Doraemon, I think now that I see Huang Taekyung, can you give me a random door? Doraemon raised his hand and slowly removed the big headscarf. Huang Taekyung appeared in front of her with sweat all over his head. Nan Hoa's heart was extremely moved. Looking at his sweaty hair and embarrassed and disheveled expression before her eyes, she felt an unprecedented softness and emotion. She followed her inner emotions, dropped everything, and threw herself into his arms. He hugged her tightly, suddenly feeling all the shame and embarrassment gone, only filled with joy and happiness. After a long while, the two slowly separated. Nan Hoa helped him fix his messy hair, the two faced each other. Thank you for today, Doraemon Appa. His lips curled up, yes. Hesitating for a long time, he softly said, Yuhi. I like you. He tried to kiss her forehead. 1 second he left, the next, he nervously paid attention to her expression. Nan Hoa bowed her head, her face slightly red. The atmosphere around the two people was like that of innocent high school students in love. One day filming, darkroom. PD asked Nan Hoa, when did you know he was at the scene? She slyly smiled, at first I didn't know, I was really scared, thinking that he was in some serious situation and couldn't come here, I really wanted to help him hide. PD also laughed. The first time I suspected was when he sent me the route map, not the route on the map, but the actual walking route along the street. This is very difficult, he drew it so well, it was clear and precise. PD asked, he knows the agreed location, isn't it easy to draw? Nan Hoa shook her head, staring at the camera, Kyung Appa, can I say it? Well, I still won't say it, it's a matter of Mr. Huang Taekyung's dignity anyway. She said, then covered her mouth and smiled. PD asked many times, she kept shaking her head and not saying anything, so PD had to ignore this issue. When will it be confirmed? A pastry shop, but it can't be said to be truly recognizable, it's just like this, a table full of sweet snacks, but the result is a discount. I immediately began to suspect that this was intentionally arranged, but I'm not sure if it's the show crew or him. Then that glass of juice, it really came up too slowly, we all finished eating, the juice just came up. I had a moment, thinking, could it be that he's here, this juice wasn't made by him himself? PD smiled, Yuhi so smart, actually Taekyung has been in the shop making cakes for you all this time, but the result is really not ideal, until you came, it was not finished, so in the end changed to juice, and because of that, he couldn't show up to enjoy it with you. It seems like this is the first time doing something like this, he worked very hard to make it perfect, so, is that glass of juice really not good to drink? Nanhoa was really touched, hearing the PD's question, she laughed and shook her head, no, I lied to him, it's actually really good to drink, and because I suspected that he made it, I drank it all. She said a little embarrassedly, covering her face, but in the end, I still wasn't 100% sure, so I deliberately said that to provoke him. His reaction confirmed my guess. PD asked again, that part about Doraemon, was it really touching? Have you always hoped to have a boyfriend like Doraemon? Yes, really touching. I've always felt touched today. Nanhoa nodded, it's not because he can take out so many things like Doraemon. Although I like Doraemon, we all know that it's just a fantasy world. It's because he's willing to play Doraemon for me and go dancing. This kind of affection really touches me. PD nodded, full of sympathy. On the other side, Hwang Taekyung received the darkroom interview. Today, I almost got discovered many times. He covered his face, this method is really too stupid, there are so many loopholes, Yuhi has such a sharp mind, how could he not discover it? PD accidentally said, this method is what you thought of, isn't it? Hwang Taekyung, no, it's Shinwoo. So it's no wonder Shinwoo is still single, this kind of scenario any girl would find out. How did you think of playing Doraemon? Hwang Taekyung, could he say he was hearing Jeremy say that if he confesses like this, girls will be very happy and touched. Yuhi likes Doraemon. So I want to give a surprise. Yuhi really felt touched, when she jumped over here, what did you feel? He clicked his lips and laughed, really happy. PD looked at the mobile phone message, just now Yuhi said, the reason she was so touched was not because you played the omnipotent Doraemon. But because you were willing to do this for her, after hearing her heartfelt words, did you have any feelings? Hwang Taekyung's entire expression softened, his eyes also filled with affection, his smile filled with indulgence and pride, yes, Fairy doesn't care too much about material things, she's just like that, seeing through it all. Paying more attention to the heart. Also easy to be honest with others. PD jokingly covered it up, wow, this love taste, my teeth are all rotten from the sweetness. He said and then realized what he said, seeing PD's exaggerated actions, his face immediately turned red. After the filming ended, Hwang Taekyung took Nanhoa home. When they reached the door, she was about to get out of the car. He pulled her sleeve, Fairy, she turned her head, ah? What's wrong? He twitched his lips, the force on his hand was also a bit heavy, after a long while, he stammered, where did you answer? She pursed her lips, looking back at his expectant eyes, what answer? His eyes immediately dimmed, and there was a bit of embarrassment and frustration, ah. Fairy. I said, you didn't answer? Answer. She deliberately pretended not to understand, today because of filming you talked a lot, what should I answer? Hwang Taekyung saw that she did it on purpose, gritted his teeth, those words were in his mouth for a long time, but no matter what, he couldn't say them. But she kept looking at him, always feeling like she was waiting for him to say those words. Nanhoa waited for half a day, he pulled her sleeve and struggled there, somewhat disappointedly he lowered his eyes, preparing to open the door and leave. He discovered her intention, panicked, let go of her sleeve and tightly grabbed her hand, Yuhi. I like you. Be with me. Be together for life. Saying one sentence, it seemed like the next sentence wasn't that difficult. Nanhoa turned her back to him, slowly laughing. He looked at her figure anxiously, seeing that she did not turn around for a long time, he asked softly, Yuhi, you. After a long struggle, he gritted his teeth and cruelly bent her body, do you agree or not to give me a reply? Seeing her face full of smiles, he was immediately surprised. She leaned over and wrapped her arms around his neck, her chin resting on his shoulder, feeling his stiff body, she chuckled softly, and softly replied in his ear, yes, I agreed, this kind of thing for life. A soft and slow voice carrying a hint of breath entered from his ear, Huang Taekyung was like being electrocuted, his heart beat faster. Immediately after that it was filled with joy, tightly hugging her waist, bringing her back into his embrace. Yoo-hee. Nanhua leaned on his shoulder and smiled. After saying goodbye to Huang Taekyung, who she confirmed the relationship with, she hugged a large pile of gifts and returned home. The agent looked at the large number of makeup items and bags, and her eyes lit up. Really, is he this smart? Deeply understanding of the essence of women, not having a bag can't solve the problem. Nanhua was speechless. Can you not be so vulgar? The agent waved her hand casually. Yes, I am vulgar. You can just hug your music box, a person in love. Nanhua was teased 3 times a day. Back in the room, she leaned on the table and quietly looked at the music box. She found that this was a familiar day. It was the first day she and he first met. She couldn't help but laugh and press to start this. The music slowly flowed out. This was a song that had never been heard before. After a long while, the singing stopped, then a familiar, seemingly somewhat shy voice. Yoo-hee, this song was written for you. It was my heart. I really like you. She bit her lips and smiled. It seemed like he had been holding back for so many days. He really put in a lot of effort.